All right, let's talk about brain fog. You know that feeling, right? That mental exhaustion where it feels like you're trying to think through mud. It's something so many of us deal with, and today we're going to get to the bottom of it.
I mean, have you ever walked into the kitchen, stood there for a second, and had absolutely no idea why you went in there? Or you're in the middle of a sentence and poof, the word is just gone. That's brain fog in a nutshell. But here's the thing. What if it's not just because you're tired or stressed out?
Well, the research we're digging into today points to something much deeper. The real problem, it seems, is happening at a microscopic level. It's happening inside your brain cells. We're talking about something called cellular energy starvation. Yeah, your brain cells are literally running out of fuel.
So, that brings us to our first section, the cellular energy crisis. Let's really get into what's powering your thoughts and, more importantly, what happens when the tank runs empty.
Okay, so it all comes down to this one molecule, adenosine triphosphate. You can just call it ATP. Now think of ATP as the gasoline for your body. It's the biological fuel that powers absolutely everything you do, from moving a muscle to having a deep thought.
And get this, your brain is an energy hog. I mean, it's only about 2% of your body's weight, but it devours a whopping 20% of your total energy. That's a tiny organ with a huge appetite.
So where is all that energy coming from? Well, the answer is inside these little, tiny power plants in your brain. These are the engines that are constantly running to keep you going.
Say hello to your mitochondria. These guys are the real MVPs. They're these tiny little organelles. Think of them like batteries inside your cells. Their whole job is to take the food you eat and turn it into that precious ATP energy your brain is screaming for. Without them, your mental performance just tanks.
And just to give you an idea of how critical they are, your brain cells are stuffed with them. We're talking up to 2,000 mitochondria in a single brain cell. That's an army of power plants working 24/7 just to power your thoughts.
But here's the catch. What happens when those little power plants start to get old and break down? This is where we run into a really interesting concept from the source material, something they call the metabolic tax.
This, right here, is what the research points to as the root cause of brain fog. It's a problem called mitochondrial dysfunction, and it's exactly what it sounds like. Your brain's batteries are just not holding a charge like they used to.
So let's put them side by side. On one hand, you have a healthy mitochondrion. It's like a finely tuned engine, just humming along, pumping out tons of clean ATP energy. But on the other hand, you have a dysfunctional one. It's sputtering, struggling, and instead of energy, it's spewing out all this harmful junk, oxidative waste. That's the metabolic tax. You get less energy, and you get more damage. It's a double whammy that hits your memory and can even speed up cell aging.
And the consequences of paying this tax? Well, they probably sound pretty familiar. It all starts with that brain fog we've been talking about, but it can spiral into things like chronic fatigue, a really spotty memory, just feeling like your thinking is slow, and yeah, it can even make you age faster.
Okay, so that's the problem. The big question is, what can we do about it? How do we stop paying this metabolic tax? Well, the sources we looked at lay out a pretty clear game plan to reboot your mitochondria. They call it the mitochondrial reset protocol.
And the strategy here is actually really straightforward. It's a two-step process. Step 1, build more power plants. Just increase the total number. And step 2, tune up the engines you already have so they run better and cleaner.
So for step 1, building new power plants, we're looking at a compound called PQQ. Now, the research on this is pretty amazing. Its special trick is something called mitochondrial biogenesis. That's just a fancy way of saying it helps your body create brand new mitochondria from scratch. It's the only nutrient we know of that can do that.
All right, so for step 2, sparking the engines, we have coenzyme Q10. You've probably heard of it as CoQ10. Now, if PQQ builds the factory, CoQ10 is what flips the on switch. It's the literal spark plug inside the mitochondria that gets the energy conversion process going.
So let's put it all together. That's the protocol. PQ2 to build the new mitochondria and CoQ10 to fire them up. And what's really cool is that the studies show these two work way better together than they do alone. It's a true 1-2 punch.
So what does all this mean for you and your actual life? Well, it's about reclaiming your mental clarity. It's about getting back that sharp focus and that energy to get through your day without feeling wiped out.
The research even highlights a case study, a guy named Alex who was just completely drained all the time. But after he started on a protocol with both PQQ and CoQ10, he described this incredible turnaround in his energy. And that's really the point, right?
Tackling the problem where it starts, at the cellular level, can make a huge difference.
So here's the main takeaway from all of this. That feeling of brain fog, that constant fatigue, it doesn't have to be your default setting. By understanding and supporting your mitochondria, you can actually take charge of your brain's core energy supply and get your mental clarity back.
So I'll leave you with this question to think about. What could you accomplish if your brain was running at full power, with all the energy it could possibly need? It's something to think about. That's it for this explainer.